G'day guys, Merc here, welcome to another video. I thought I'd take a quick look at perhaps the most hated game of 2016 and give it a fair look. With its YouTube trailer receiving over 3 million dislikes, making it the second most disliked YouTube video of all time, it's safe to say no one was expecting big things from Infinite Warfare. I wasn't either really, and happily played BF1 regularly, having half forgotten Call of Duty even released a game this year, until I saw Infinite Warfare on Steam sales and picked it up for a cool $40. Now, I bought Infinite Warfare knowing perfectly well that I wouldn't be getting a stellar multiplayer experience. Honestly, bought it for the space combat. Even if the multiplayer in the last couple of CoD games has been on the decline, they always do a decent campaign. And I was completely down for a semi-realistic space combat campaign. For the most part, that's what I got. While the weapons left a lot to be desired, and many felt like what I can only describe as pepper cannons, entirely lackluster, others were dual-purpose SMG assault or assault sniper variants, which made the counterparts and corresponding categories that only did one thing feel entirely redundant. The special weapons were the only redeeming force, but a force in short supply, as even if you selected these weapons in your pre-mission loadout, their ammo was extremely limited and unable to be refilled via mid-mission ammo crates, leading to them getting swapped out mid-mission in favor of a dropped weapon that actually had ammo. In short, weapons, meh. The gadgets and hacks that you could perform were cool, and even necessary on higher campaign difficulty just to get through the mission without getting one shot, but unfortunately they're very limited and unimaginative in their use. In a world full of robotic automation, the only things you can use your hack on are the enemy robot soldiers you encounter from time to time. The only other use it sees is in scripted events. So, while the gunplay and gameplay in general is a bit of a letdown, the space battles and dogfights are a welcome change from the drabbery of enemy ship corridors, and provide some of the best views in the game. With nice high-res planets and blinding ship explosions, it's actually quite beautiful for a while. Which is surprisingly where this game shines. It has atmosphere. No pun intended, the one thing this campaign did well was immersion. When you go out on a mission, your character actually has to get ready for the mission. You talk it out with the crew, you plan your weapons with the gunnery sarge, you get in your fighter, launch it, and you're in the action. When you come back, triumphant from a mission, there will sometimes be a news report on the events of the mission with people watching it in the break room and making their own comments on it. There's no blank spots left for travel time, so you actually feel like you're moving around the solar system. You watch your carrier warp when you change location, and see your crew deal with the assorted technological mishaps that I'd assume would be associated with early warp travel. It's immersive. Kit Harington, Game of Thrones' Jon Snow, voices and lends his image to the game's antagonist sailing Koch, but is rarely seen outside of in-game video after the first mission. A real pity, since he makes a strong first impression which he never quite lives up to again. The NPC characters that comprise your crew are believable and highly detailed, and while there isn't a huge amount of character development, there are some moments of real tension thanks to quality acting brought to life by the motion capture technology. And unfortunately, some of the coolest moments in the game are the most scripted moments. There's a lot of what I'd call in-game cutscenes, where you haven't actually cut to a cutscene, but it's on rails with limited camera movement, or a single action you must perform. The game's actual cutscenes were a stuttery mess until I found a fix in the form of running the game in windowed full screen instead of full screen. Apparently it's a pretty common bug, and unacceptable for such a large studio, given that many, if not all players have the games full screen for performance. The game itself had some minor NPC glitches, running into/through walls, stuck on the player character as seen here, and so on. Even at the hardest difficulty, the campaign took maybe 6 to 7 hours to get through. I'd imagine you could crack it in 3 to 4 hours if you're in a lower difficulty setting and you weren't just achievement hunting for the sake of it. The install comes in at a hefty 101 gigabytes on PC. Infinity Ward not opting to split their installs of the multiplayer and zombie portions of the game as they have in previous titles, which may be another reason the game didn't maintain any player base. Not being given the option to uninstall the campaign or zombies portion of the game in order to free up hard drive space meant that 101 gigabytes of your already limited SSD space was dedicated to a game you'd only be playing 1/3 of if you were one of the people who mostly bought it for the multiplayer, so the majority of CoD players. I was not expecting a massive player base on Infinite Warfare PC. I was being realistic and thinking at peak time there'd be 1 or 2 lobbies of diehard players. Instead, I struggled on 5 different days to find a single game to get some footage in. When I finally did get a game, I was greeted with the power sliding, wall running crap fest I've come to expect from modern CoD titles. Something the new World War II game seems to remedy. But that's something for another video. Fact is, the PC player base for this game is entirely dead at this point, at least in Australia. I cannot attest for other countries. I didn't honestly bother looking at the zombies mode offerings. I haven't really been a fan since the World at War original zombies game mode. So, is a purchase actually worth the money? On this game, no. Not unless you catch it on a Steam sale. Give this one a skip and hope for the best with CoD World War II. While the game does come with Modern Warfare Remastered if you buy the Digital Legacy Edition for $80, you can just buy the remaster separately now if you're really hankering for some CoD 4 nostalgia. I've tried to be as impartial as I could with this review, and I hope you enjoyed my take on the game. If you'd like to see more videos like this kind of style, hit subscribe or leave a comment. I read them all. Merc out. See you in the next one.